Hi, I'm Dan.
And I'm Richard.
We're The Feeling, and thank you very much for watching Music News. Subscribe here.
Subscribe.
Subscribe.
Dan and Richard from The Feelings, pleasure to meet you again. How you doing?
Good. Yeah, very good, thank you.
Just heard the sound check here at Oslo and Hackney. Sounded absolutely brilliant. Very, very loud. There'll be no problem with volume.
Was it loud? That was good.
It will be louder.
We've lost our hearing after many years of doing this, so we have no idea. We're like, it sounds normal to us. But yeah, it is. It's a nice little venue, and it's got a nice big PA system, and that's why we chose it.
Yeah, absolutely. Great place. And you look excited about previewing the album, I guess?
Yeah, for us it's still, in a way it's still part of the process, because we like to try stuff out and we like to play live any chance we get. And this was such a great chance because this venue is literally down the road from where we made the album. So it seemed like a nice thing to just kind of literally go not even half a mile to go and do a gig and be the first time anyone hears the album, is us playing it live in a gig. And,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Where was it recorded then?
Just in down the road on Wilton Way. There's a place which is basically a pub, a converted pub, which I bought years ago. And
this is your house.
It's basically where I live.
This place.
I was like, I gave him the address.
Yeah.
I gave him the address.
You beat the beep
on the way. And I live there, and we have a studio on the old pub floor. So
excellent.
Yeah, it's lovely, and it's just very relaxed, nice place to make music, and we've been there a long time, actually, before this place was even here.
Yeah, it's relatively new, I guess. But I mean, when you play new material, is it like an added buzz or is it added anxiety?
Both, really.
It's terrifying, actually.
Yeah. In fact, we haven't actually done this before. I think maybe we did it, obviously on our first album because we were new.
We didn't have any.
And then on our
albums.
third album we went out and did a little tour trying out the new stuff, but we've never done a set playing an entire record since our first
No, we haven't.
album.
This is a first for us.
But
and it's quite nerve-wracking. But
yes.
the nice thing about it is that if I do get the words wrong, no one's going to know. It's literally like,
just
if I
do
get
it
the
with
words
conviction.
wrong, fine. Yeah. As long as I don't pull that, I got the words wrong face, we'll be fine.
But still, the album is coming out in February. Still a way off, I guess.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've heard "Wicked Heart" as a lovely taster. Really enjoyed that song. What's that all about? And is it a precursor to the album as such?
It is, in a way. I mean, the way the sound of the album works and everything. Yeah, the sound of it is pretty much a precursor. It's very live. It's kind of, I wrote it on a guitar as opposed to the piano, which does affect the way that the album sounds. The energy of the album is much more guitar-y than piano-y.
Yeah, it just sounded.
It's quite guitar. It's very guitar led. Yeah. So, it's and lots of the record was written on the guitar. It's a different phase of my life and a different way of writing. I tend to write sad songs on the piano, and I wanted to write something a bit more ballsy.
I think the other important thing to mention is that we recorded the whole album as a band.
Yeah.
This record, all in the room together, playing live, which is something we've done on the odd track before, but never as a whole record. And for that reason, when Dan was writing and demoing, we'd do all of that arranging together with guitars, a bit of organ, in the room. And then when we came to record it, we cut the whole thing in 10 days, just bashed it down and treated the whole recording studio very much like we were recording to tape. So there's no click tracks, no editing, they're just performances. And that's really why we wanted to do this show, because we think it's important to show the album in the way it was recorded. We've got a couple of backing vocalists here tonight who sang on the album with us. Because it's one of those things, because we wanted big belty backing vocals and we can't do that, so we've got some people in rather than trying to trick it.
Well, in the past, I would have layered my vocals and done all that kind of stuff, and but we didn't want that for this album.
It's not what the Rolling Stones did.
It sounds like a real. It sounds like a real gig.
In the old days, it's not. They couldn't. They had to just get people in and perform it live. So
absolutely. I mean, it sounded very powerful in there, and because of the sort of the recording sort of live, as it were. I know you're a very close unit as a band, and you always get on. But did that bring in any extra stresses, as it were?
No, it was lovely.
It's just really.
I just really thought, why
approach.
Part of it was like it was the right time to do that, because we're still really close mates.
Yeah.
We've been playing together 20 years, and we've got to that phase where we're like, well, wait a minute. There's not many bands that can do that. Just literally go into a studio, press record, and make it sound like a record. And that's that's an opportunity we have that many bands don't have. If
And
you've
it's
only
a
been playing
challenge.
together,
It's something to
challenge.
challenge ourselves to actually say, you know, can we make a record like that, like the Beatles did, like the Stones did, like all of our favourite records, where it's exposed. It's
Yes.
kind of, you can't really edit it if it goes wrong, so you just do a take and pick your favourite one, and then have to sort of leave those little imperfections in. But most of our favourite records have those. So
Absolutely. I mean, but you know, it's a self-titled album as well. So is this, you know, the climax so far of the band?
I think the point of that is that it is defining us as a band because of the way we recorded it and wrote it, and that's why it felt right to call it The Feeling.
Does it get harder or easier after 5 albums?
It's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
It's a real roller coaster. You know, different albums have different levels of trickiness depending on where we're at, whether it's because of writing or because of production and what we're trying to get out of the album. I think we're finding it much easier the more we do. We're just plain sailing now, because before, I think with a certain amount of pressure put on from having had a really massive successful record like we did 10 years ago, there was always that trying to keep that going. When actually we've moved beyond that now to the point where we're just making what we want to make without we're not allowing ourselves to feel any pressure from anything. We're just making the kind of music we want to hear, and that's kind of suddenly very liberating.
Yeah, I mean, and doing your own thing. You know, 25 festivals this year. You know, your music is really feel good. You're a perfect festival band. Is that sort of where you feel most at home, trying to get new fans on the road?
Yeah, festivals are great, aren't they?
Great fun. We feel very fortunate that we get to do them and that we seem to fit into a lot of different types.
Yeah,
of festivals.
definitely. You could play almost any festival, I'd say.
We pretty much have, except for Donington.
Yeah,
I'm sure we'd work at Sonosphere.
Yeah,
but
Donington's
I'll give it a go.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll try
It's
it.
quite late. You've heard the new stuff.
I move climbing.
Exactly. No, it's more ballsy, powerful stuff. No
I have to
doubt.
learn to move very quickly. That's when you have to learn lightning reflexes. It's when you're on stage at Donington.
And we're coming up to Christmas. It's never Christmas without a good feeling gig, but nothing's been announced so far. Is there anything?
We're not sure this year because
We're
of
not
the
sure this
record,
year,
the album,
yeah.
sort of
Yeah.
the priority thing. We do love doing them, so you never know. We might do.
There'll always
something.
be something. Something's
We'll
going
do
to
something,
turn
even if
up.
it's smaller, just something just for ourselves and
Handful of people.
whoever turns up.
Yeah.
Good stuff. And I mean, thanks a lot for your time. It's been great. As we stand here, what if you had to choose one individual song from the new album that's your favourite? What would you choose right now?
For me, a song called Feel Something.
I thought you were going to say why. I was going to pick the same one because it's likely to be a single, but it was one of the earlier ones we did, and it feels great to play it. Really, really enjoyed it in rehearsals.
Yeah, it does.
And just, no other reason than that, really. It just feels real.
Fantastic. Well, I'm really looking forward to the show, as everyone else is. Thanks a lot for your time. Anything else to say to Music News watchers?
Thank you for having us. Bye.
Fantastic. Thanks.
Little fly, little bomb. If I had another one, I'd match them up. And I'd go for full nipple mic. Stereo.
Stereo.